Have a look at some of the inside pages. Ben and Holly both with us. Ben, what have you got?
Morning. Yeah,
Morning.
all of the business pages dominate.
As you might imagine, the back page is dominated by Chris Froome this morning and that crash. More details obviously emerging of what...
Miles an hour.
But come on, he's
Wow.
very experienced.
Exactly,
course.
something you'd
But
imagine
still,
he's done
that's
quite a
incredible.
bit. This is just sort of a standard, you know, procedure.
Probably
for
worth
him.
explaining, isn't it? Because people would be assuming that everything would be filmed, but because it was a training.
But obviously we'll keep you abreast.
And obviously we wish him all the best. I'm going to change tack completely. We've had a debate in the office this morning about crumpets.
I don't think there was much debate. You just told us what you thought.
How very dare you!
It's just the end of it.
OK. Toasted cheese on crumpets. Yay or nay?
Not.
Go.
Really?
Yeah, because a big Scotch egg is a bit too much way forward. But if you don't
Are they
like
the thin
too
ones?
much, they're the thin ones.
Yeah.
And also, I spoke with one young producer today who microwaves the cheese on the crumpets. That was the debate.
I don't think
That was the
microwaving
outrage.
is the issue.
I'm with
the
you
issue
on
is
that one,
putting
then.
the
That's
cheese on
not
the crumpet in the
No,
first
no,
place. to be
You
honest.
don't
Yeah,
microwave
well, I'm with
cheese.
you. Putting a cheese
That's
on
just
is
wrong.
right.
Anyway, there's a whole lot of stuff for everyone to get their teeth into, literally, this morning. That in the Telegraph.
See you both later on. Thank you very much. Time now is 6:24.
If you were studying music, imagine being able to get your inspiration from the piano on which Gustav Holst wrote The Planets.
Built 100 years ago, it's now been restored to its former glory and will return to the London School where Holst created his most famous work. Ian Reeve has this report. Piano music in the morning.
Something to rouse you in the morning. It's lovely.
6:27. We're just letting that. Feels nice, doesn't it? Piano
Enjoy.
music. 6:27 is the time. That means it's time to get the news, the travel, and the weather where you are. Hello, this is Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Good morning to you. It's 6:30. We're going to bring you all the latest news and sport in a moment. There's plenty coming up on the programme this morning.
Stories from BBC News. The first round of voting in the Conservative leadership contest takes place this morning, when at least one of the 10 candidates will be eliminated.
Tory MPs
In England failed to treat new cancer patients within 62 days of an urgent referral last year. That's according to research by the BBC.
day of violent clashes over controversial new extradition laws. Police
Of Ebola in Uganda could be declared an international emergency.
add folic acid to flour in the UK in a bid to cut the highest rates of birth defects in Europe have come a step closer as the government launches a 12-week...
Those are the main stories. Time now is 6:33.
6:34 now. You said that with 1 second
Time
to go.
passes,
It
you know,
does.
that's what
It
happens.
does. It's what it does. We're going to talk to Holly now about sport. We've got an awful incident now with Chris Froome, and we're really hoping he's going to recover from it. Several broken bones.
Several, absolutely. I mean, a crash like this, when you think of it, driving it or cycling at 40 miles per hour, when you hit a wall, and you know, some of his experience and his ability to be able to take his hand off the steering wheel, which apparently is what he did, to blow his nose. I mean, he's done that countless times, you would imagine, but in this incident, he's veered off. It was during a recce for stage 4 of the Critérium de Dauphiné. So obviously not during the race itself. So, you know, it wasn't caught on camera. We haven't seen actually what has happened. But he is in intensive care at the moment, which, I mean, does put paid, of course, to his chances of a 5th Tour de France title. But at the minute, the important thing, obviously, is his recovery. I mean, a 4-time Tour de France champion, of course, now left with a broken leg, a fractured elbow, broken ribs after this accident, hitting the wall at nearly 40.
You need to hit with the rubber chicken.
I'll be honest, I've never played it, so I cannot give you a guide to the rules.
Touch rugby, but play with the chicken
run.
It must be so much fun being hit with a rubber chicken.
Really?
Well,
we're going to have to get Naga a rubber chicken by the sounds of things.
Thank you.
We will see you a little later on. Thank you very much. Time now is just come to 6:40. Let's go back to one of our main stories this morning. After thousands of protesters clashed with police in Hong Kong this morning, we're trying to get a picture of just what's been achieved and what the situation is there.
So what happened yesterday is police were firing rubber bullets, tear gas, pepper spray. It's the worst violence the city's seen in decades. Well, we're joined now by the former... Can you explain to us all, in simple terms as possible, what the problem is or what protesters have in terms of an issue with these new extradition bills? As the former chairperson of the Hong Kong Democratic Party and a legislator, as she described. Thank you.
Let's see, 6:45 is the time. That means it's time for us to have a chat with Matt and ask the question, what's going on with the weather?
It's not great, is it?
Ben, thanks very much.
6:52 the time now. So, music business can be very strange sometimes, the way things work out for people. So, in the 1970s, Mick Ware was a struggling musician in a little-known band called Sa. But after achieving only modest success, he gave up his dreams of stardom and started working as a furniture restorer instead.
So nothing unusual so far. Fast forward a few decades. Music of him is now reaching the global audiences he once dreamed of. And this is all because of the controversial American rapper called Tyler, the Creator, who's helped him out. Tim Muffet has been finding out more.
Go well for you.
And I'm so glad that they played hardball with the negotiations as well. Too right. Too right. Well done, Mick Ware.
6:56 is the time now.
It is time to find out what's happening where you are this morning, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock. Land snail. It's had a remarkable turnaround in fortune. Helen Briggs had snail. Didn't look like a giant snail.
Maybe relative to other snails, I don't know. From the world of fiction, I mean, that's a good thing, right? That's obviously a good thing because
It's
they've been
a great
saved
thing.
remarkably.
It's a fabulous thing.
More endangered than the panda, I think that's right, wasn't it?
Yes, and the mountain gorilla. The largest land snail recorded, by the way, was 12 inches long and weighed nearly 2 pounds.
Not as big as this one.
The shell was watertight.
Absolutely.
Is that
Of course it
true?
was. Yeah. Well, it's not true because it was a film, but, because Dr. Dolittle's a work of fiction.
Do you know those little things that on the snails? What do you think they're for?
Antennae.
Do you know snails can see, but they can't hear?
Now you know. You're up to date on snail-based information. The time is 12 minutes past 7.
It is a little chilly. It may feel a little chilly at the moment, but Matt says we're around the right temperatures. He's going to update us with the weather in about 3 or 4 minutes. First, though, around 200. All these pictures of high folic acid foods. We're just not having enough of them?
That's it's partly to do with that. It's partly to do with the fact.
Imagine if when you were studying music, you were able to get some inspiration for your compositions on the piano by playing the piano, which Gustav Holst wrote The Planet.
Built
Pretty cool.
100 years ago, it's now been restored to its former glory and will return to the London school where Holst created his most famous work. Ian Reeve has more.
Consider this was at the Criterium de Dauphiné, not during the race. This was just during a recce for stage 4. Quite simply, he was there, trying to have a look round. He was with one of his teammates whilst riding at just under 40 miles per hour. So really at some speed when you consider, and hitting a wall. So he's obviously fractured many bones in his body, we understand. And it does, of course, mean that he won't be in the Tour de France looking for a 5th title there. But more importantly, I think the issue is just around his recovery now. The 4-time Tour de France champion has apparently been left with a broken leg, a fracture.
Crazy guns, isn't it?
It will completely,
Yeah,
and at this
that's
sort
it.
of stage, like the US Open, and of course this is the last one before the Open in Port Rush, where of course all eyes will be on Rory McIlroy then. But this time, it's all about Tiger, isn't it?
Well, thanks very much. See you later on. Time now is 7:38.
For most people, holding hands with their partner is part of everyday life. But for Britain's LGBT community, it's something that the majority are still often too scared to do, even though, what year are we in? 2019. And intimidating someone. What does that need to change? I mean, you're changing things from the inside in the police, excuse me, and educating. But on the outside, if someone thinks, well, I don't like you because you're different, I'm going to abuse you, most I'll get is £20.
Someone having a go at them, verbally or whatever, is deeply unpleasant, but maybe they're more reluctant to come forward. Maybe they don't have any evidence as such. I mean, if something happened to me, someone had a go at me, and what then? What happens next when they come to you? If someone is in that situation, something has happened, and they come to you, what reassurance can you give them that it's worthwhile? thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank
Good
you.
talking
No
to you.
problem. Thank you.
Over the coming Pride season, Breakfast is going to be taking a good look at the issues facing the LGBT.
Time now is 7:46. Let's have a look at that June weather for you. Matt's got all the details for us right now. Morning, Matt.
It's not June.
Oh, yeah. True.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we will.
Make them stop. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Time now is 7:53. Now, in the 1970s, Mick Ware was a struggling musician in a little-known band called Tsar. But after achieving only modest success, he left the industry altogether and started working as a furniture restorer instead.
Fast forward a few decades and this story really does become interesting. His music is now reaching the global audiences he once only dreamed of reaching. And all of this because of the controversial American rapper Tyler, the Creator. Well, Tim Muffet has been to Mick and to find out more about this story.